So chapter 26 of the first book of A Course of Love. Okay. Finally it's cooling down, huh? Hey, full life. Nice.
Oh,
Let's dive in. Is everyone ready? Ready to go?
yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, anybody would like to start reading? Floor is
Yeah, I
open.
can start.
Yeah, thanks.
The full life. It is often spoken of with some amazement that I lived a short life, preached for only a small part of it, travelled not very far, had few possessions or influential friends. We have talked before of the tragedy you feel when anyone dies young. You each have some notion of what you believe a full life to be. For some of you, it would include marriage and children, for others, career, religious commitment, or creative endeavours. Some would think of travel and adventure, friendships, or financial security. Most of you will think of having a long life. Many of you question the line between fate and accomplishment. Are some chosen for greatness, others for mediocrity? Few recognise the tragedy in the life of a person, except in instances of great dichotomy, perhaps best expressed in the life of the tragic hero. This observance of tragedy in life occurs only when the observation is also made of the greatness, the glory in the life. Without the recognition of the glory of life, there is no recognition of tragedy until the life has ended. In contrast, in the life of the tragic hero, excluding those who are posthumously given such a title, the tragedy is most often considered a fall from greatness. It is seen in the allure of myths, where those who associate themselves too closely with the gods are punished for such folly. Such fear of greatness and glory, of the possibility of a fall from greatness and glory, results in many tragedy-less lives. Nothing ventured, nothing gained is the axiom for such lives. Fear of the fall is a primal fear, the first fear, the fear behind all such axioms. Annie, you're first on my screen. Would you like to read?
Okay. Again, I offer my life as the example life and reiterate the message expressed in A Course in Miracles. The true meaning of the crucifixion is that it was the last and final end to all such fears and myths. All such fears were taken to the cross with me and banished in the resurrection of the glory that is ours. Do not be afraid, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Realize that there is no cause for fear. You cannot fly too closely to the sun. You cannot be deceived any longer by tales of woe or of fallen heroes. Your story is one of glory. Your greatness can no longer be denied unless you deny it. Do you feel beautiful and prized and worthy? Then so shall you be.
Mm. Mm. Let's practice that. Do you feel beautiful? Say yes.
Yes.
Totally.
Totally. Just keep feeling beautiful. It's
So
a feeling thing. It's not a visual thing. It's actually a feeling thing. And you feel beautiful. Just feel, allow the feelings of beautiful.
oh my God, I'm so beautiful.
Allowing it more. Allowing it more. It's just that allow it, give it space to be, and give it life. And that's it. Prized and worthy. It's an experience. We often don't allow ourselves to be while we already are that. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm. Kevin, who is next on your screen?
Chantel.
No fear is greater than the fear of meaninglessness.
Mm.
And as stated before, the quest for meaning is how you have described your purpose here. To have no meaning to attach to your life is the tragedy you see within it and attempt to keep hidden from yourself. This fear goes hand in hand with your fear of the fall. For if you will attempt to assign the meaning to your life that you think it should have, a fall would surely await you, at least in your imaginings. You are thus caught in a double bind, living a life you feel is devoid of meaning and letting fear keep you from seeking the meaning you would give it. You feel no inherent sense of purpose, no grace, no meaning beyond what you would give to your own endeavors. This is what we now leave behind as we seek to become involved with life. I say we because I am with you and will not leave your side.
My God. Can you feel him next to you? Mm.
I say we, because your first involvement is involvement with Christ. An involvement that links us in oneness and glory once again.
Mm.
I say we because we are life. I say we because we cannot live love apart from one another.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You do not yet, but will soon realize the happiness that is ours.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind can just not accept that happiness, as well as meaning, is due you through no efforts of your own. Woo!
Wow, just like a lesson this morning, hey? Mm-mm.
Scenes of your life play through your mind that prove that you are neither inherently happy nor life inherently meaningful. Your reliance on these scenes and memories must be broken before my words can reach your mind and begin to replace these scenes with new ones. Until that time is upon you, let my words touch your heart. Who's next, Kevin?
Samuel, you'd like to read today?
You who struggle to understand what these words say and what they might mean, you strive to find the clues to what they ask you to do. Will find it difficult to seize your struggle and your striving. You find it almost impossible still to believe effort is not called for.
Mm-hmm.
That what your heart but wishes for could simply come true through your acceptance of these words. But I am prepared to make it easy for you. You who have so sought happiness without finding it, rejoice. It is not lost. It does not require you to find it or put a name to it before it can be yours.
Mm.
Is this not what you have cried about? Have you not long sought to put a name on happiness? Have you not long lamented that if you knew what would bring you happiness, you would surely pursue it? Have you not long stated that if you knew what would bring meaning to your life, you would surely do it?
Mm.
Have you not long wished to know your purpose? To be given a goal that would fulfill the longing in you? Have you not prayed for signs or read books that have promised you a service, a series of steps to take to get where you want to go, only to realize you know not where that is? Okay.
Kim, you're next.
Okay. And have you not become impatient with advice, with teachers, and with courses of study? Have you not felt at the limit of your patience with instruction? Have you not felt the call to live, growing stronger in you by the day? Are you not anxious to say, "Tell me what to do and I will do it"? Are you not ready for certainty above all else? Are you not ready to be done with studying and to begin with living? Have you not become increasingly convinced that you have not been living and wondered what it is you have been doing? Have you not grown weary of what passes for life in your world? Have you not wished you could throw out all the thoughts and worries that fill your mind and begin anew? Are you not simply ready to be done with the way things have been and to begin a new way? Are you not ready to listen to a new voice? Okay. Holy dooly.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 paras.
You can read more if you want. They're little ones, aren't they? Yeah.
All right. All this frustration and impatience has been building. This build-up has been necessary. Now, like an explosion waiting to happen, it only needs a trigger to be released.
Mm.
With its release, the new can begin. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. That's the one. That's the tune.
This course is but a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
These words, the prelude to the explosion. It is as if you have been waiting for someone to whisper, "Now." That's not a whisper, but anyway. The whisper has come. The time is now. Okay. Would someone else like to go?
Yeah, Alison, you're next.
Mm-hmm. Can you let the worries of today leave your mind? Can you let the disappointments of yesterday go and be no more? Can you let the planning for the future cease? Can you be still and know yourself?
Mm.
This is perhaps disappointing to you, but it is all that is required. If you could truly succeed at doing this for one instant, you would experience all that is holy and be forever new.
Mm.
You may experience disappointment at these words and feel as if you have been waiting to be invited to a party and that the invitation hasn't come. This is because you are ready for the next step, the step of being engaged with life, the step of living from love. And I assure you, there is no need to sit about and wait for the time of the celebration to come. This is the invitation to the celebration. This is the invitation to greet this day with no worry, disappointment, or planning. This is the invitation to greet yourself and to find yourself within this day. It requires no new plans. It asks not that you make any decisions. It asks not that you do anything new. This is an invitation from love to love. It asks only that you be open and allow giving and receiving as one to take place. It asks only that you be unoccupied with the old so that the new may arrive. It asks only that you listen to your heart and let yourself be heard.
Let's take a little pause here. Let's sink that in, effortlessness of it all. No. I cannot tell you here what you will hear. How can I? When each of you will hear the answer of your heart, the calling of love to life inviolate. The answer that only you can hear. There's no mold, no form, no stock answer. This is why all answers have disappointed you in the past. Your answer is not the same as any other. No matter how filled with wisdom one person's answer may be, it is not yours. You are a thought of God. I am a thought of God, right? An idea. This thought or an idea is what you seek. It can be found only at its source. Its source is love, and its location is your own heart. Dun, dun. Oh, so beautiful. Hello, heart. Think a moment of a novel or a movie with a plot, with no plot. This would be the same as saying that there was no idea brought to completion within the pages or on the film. In God's idea of you is all that is known about you. God's idea of you is perfect. Wow, so beautiful, huh? God's idea of you is perfect. And until now, your form has been but an imperfect representation of God's idea. In God's idea of you is the pattern of universe, such as within a movie, piece of music, invention of, or artistic idea is the completion of the pattern that will make the idea a masterpiece. Darlings, you're a masterpiece. I love looking at you guys. An idea is irrevocably linked with its source and one with its source. There was no God separate from you to have this idea of you. You were birthed in unison with God's idea of you. Who's next?
Ruben's next.
Thank you.
This does not need to be understood, but only accepted to the extent you can accept it. This is necessary because of your reliance on a God who is other than you for the provision of your answers. Acceptance of your birth in unison with God's idea of you is acceptance of yourself as co-creator of the pattern of the universe. Acceptance of the idea or the story that is you. Can you not see that you were birthed into a place in the pattern of God's creation? Or that you not only can know, but have always known of this place? This is not a place of physical form, but a place of holiness, an integral place in the pattern that is oneness with God. It is a place you have never left, but that you long for, believing that you know it not. Your life here is much like a search for your story. Where will this chapter lead? What will the end be like? Was one event a mistake and another a blessing in disguise? You seek to know your story's table of contents, or at least a brief outline. Where does your life fit in the larger picture? And yet, you realize that, like reading a story, when the end is reached and all is known, the story is over, except in memory and reflection and perhaps in speculation. What might a sequel reveal? Next.
Andrew, you're next. If you can read.
Yeah, sure. Whereabouts are we up to?
26.25. This viewing of your life as a story.
The will is abandoned on earth?
No, this viewing of your life as a story is what you do.
We're in Course of Love today.
Ah, yeah. Good one.
It helps them.
All right. So chapter
26.
26. 25.
26. 26.
Ah, yeah. All right. This viewing That's the right spot.
Yep.
This viewing of your life as a story is what you do. You spend each day in review or speculation. What has happened and what will happen next? You attempt to rewrite previous chapters and to cast all the parts and plan all the events of the next. This is, in effect, your attempt to control what you do not believe you created and what you feel deprived of creating. Feels like there's a bit in that one. Read that sentence one more time. This is, in effect, your attempt to control what you do not believe you created and what you feel deprived of creating. As a being birthed by a thought of God, you grew simultaneously with God's thought. You knew your place in the pattern of creation from the outset. A full life is quite simply a fulfillment of that thought and that pattern. The only way to know it is to think it once again. The only way to know it is to think it once again. The only way to think it once again is to be wholehearted, for a split mind and heart do not think clearly. Being whole is being present. Being whole is being all you are. Being whole is being present as all you are. When this occurs, you are all in all, one in being with your Father.
Beautiful.
I fulfilled my story, my pattern, the idea of me that came from the thought of God. In doing so, I restored unity, oneness with God. I ushered in the new way that you are now longing to adopt. I ushered in a time of being.
Oh, let that sink in.
Sounds so simple.
It's so simple.
Mm. Mm.
Mhm. Mm. You guys ready to dive into the next one?
Maybe float.
Maybe what?
Maybe float into the next one.
Yeah, float. That's it. Float into it. Being taken.
I'm ready to dive.
Oh.
Because I'm going skydiving today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very interesting.
Above the battleground.
Yeah.
Well, say goodbye
Well.
to you now, Andrew. Perhaps I won't see you again.
Yeah. Be on the other side.
Oh, I watched my daughter do that, and I was so glad when she finally got back onto the ground. It's scary. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting observing the mind
Mm.
and fear and all of that business. And death. I've been thinking a lot about death the last couple of, like last week, which is interesting because you don't think about it. I don't think about it like all that often in terms of in really depth in depth. So yeah, it's interesting.
Did it happen? Did it start happening when you booked your jump?
Yeah. It'll be good. I really am excited.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, we've got all the blank screens at the moment. So Thorny's going to sleep. Anthony's driving. I don't know who the iPhone is. If anyone else in the cameras off wants to read, just put your microphone on. And
So Tony doesn't want to read?
no, she said she's going to sleep.
Oh, okay. Oh.
She's using it as a lullaby.
So, Ian, are you there? Or iPhone? I think Tonka's probably on the way to sleep too. Otherwise, it's back to... Oh, yeah,
I'm
come on.
not
I can.
sleeping, I'm listening tonight.
Okay. Yep.
I can read.
Okay.
Chapter 27, being.
You guys are vibrating so highly, like so. I hope I can honor you.
You can't go wrong, honey.
All right. Being. We return now to what your being is. Being is as love is. You have attached being to being human.
Oh dear.
Good try.
In your quest to identify yourself, you simply narrowed yourself to the visible and describable.
Wow.
Thus, you have identified death as the only means by which to reach oneness with your Father, knowing that such oneness is not compatible with the human nature you ascribe to yourself. In this one error do all errors lie. For what quest can be fulfilled when the only answer to life seems to be death? This is why and how my death and resurrection provided an answer and an end to the need for answers. Your being here is not futile or without purpose. Your being is itself all purpose, all honor, all glory.
Mm-hmm.
There is no being apart from being. There is no being alive and being dead, being human or being divine. There is only being. Being is.
God, that's loaded.
Yet being Yet being, like love, is in relationship. Thus, your purpose here, rather than being one of finding meaning, is one of coming to know through relationship. It is in coming to know through relationship that you come to know yourself. The purpose of this course has been stated in many ways and is stated again here. The purpose of this course is to establish your identity. The importance of this purpose cannot be underestimated. Let us address the question of why this is so important. You have been caught in a cycle of seeing the self as important for a period of time, and then seeing the self as unimportant for a period of time. Seeing the self as important seems at one time like a function of the ego, and at another as a function of the divine. You become confused between the personal self and true self only because you have not as yet identified your true self. Ah. Once you have identified your true self, all such confusion will end. Ta-da! Anyone else?
I think that's it now. It's back to me.
Yeah. Do you feel overloaded, Kevin? Overloaded.
I always feel overloaded.
Are you overwhelmed by divine love?
No, just overwhelmed by everything else.
There is nothing else, Kevin.
Why am I feeling overwhelmed then?
You funny bunch.
It's because you have yet to identify your true self.
Okay. Yes.
This is what they say here.
Yeah.
All right, take it.
Okay. We have already stated that relationship is the only known in an unknowable world. We have already stated that the only being who is not beyond the limits of total knowing is the self. Thus, it is in knowing the self that all is known. When you fully realize that the only way to know the self is through relationship, your concerns about concentration on the self will end. Life is not a matter of self versus other. Life is a matter of relationship. Life is not a matter of human versus divine, but a matter of relationship between the human and the divine. Life is not a matter of one living thing versus another, but of the relationship between all living things. If you can only come to know yourself through relationship, you can only come to know God through relationship. Christ is the holy relationship that exists between all and God, providing the bridge that spans the very concept of between and provides for connection of unity. Thus, your relationship with Christ always was and always will be. Your task here is to come to know that relationship once again. Do the next little one. Thought of God by which you were created is synonymous with the Christ in you. It is your relationship with your source and all he created. Oh, back to you, Annie.
Can you begin to visualize or perceive your true identity as a relationship itself? And what of God? Can you unlearn all concepts and free your mind to accept all relationship instead? If all meaning and all truth lies in relationship, can you be other than relationship itself? Can God? Can you imagine relationship rather than singular objects and bodies as all that exists, and thus who you are and who God is? It is such a huge leap to go from saying you only exist in relationship to you only exist as relationship. That one again. It's such a huge leap to go from saying you only exist in relationship to you only exist as relationship. You think it is and feel yourself further diminished and lacking in identity just by contemplating such an idea. And so you must be reassured of the self you are. This identity of this establishment of your identity that we seek to do here is not just so that you can better understand yourself or your world, or even so that you can bring heaven to earth. Although these are complementary goals, as stated before, these are goals that you cannot accomplish on your own or with the concept you now hold of yourself. Just as you can look about and see that no two bodies on this earth are exactly the same, the self you are is a unique self.
Yes.
A self of relationship does not imply a self that is the same as all the rest. But it does imply a self that is integral to all the rest. You matter, and you matter as an interactive part of the relationship that is life.
Mm-hmm.
You are already accomplished as who you are. All is accomplished in unity. In separation, you merely strive for all that is yours in relationship. Relationship is unity, and relationship is your natural state. It is who you are.
My God.
Because you do not understand does not mean that you are not learning the truth. You do not understand because you think in terms of singularity rather than in terms of unity.
Mm.
This is why this course has not concentrated on your thinking. Again, you are bidden to turn to your heart for the truth that is hidden there, yet waiting to be revealed. Your heart knows of unity, knows not any desire to be alone and separate. Your heart understands relationship as its source of being. You are not separate from your source.
Mm. Was I next, Kevin? I don't remember.
Yeah, you're next if Chantel's finished.
No, I'm not finished.
Oh, okay.
Just getting warmed up.
Oh, God. Living in relationship is living in love and is living as who you are. Living in relationship is living in the present. How do you learn to move from living in separation to living in relationship? To live in relationship is to accept all that is happening in the present as your present reality and as a call to be in relation with it. It is the willingness to set aside judgment so that you are not contemplating what should be happening rather than what is happening. Oh my God. Looks past perception of others to relationship and wholeness. To live in relationship is to live in harmony, even with conflict. It is an understanding that if conflict arises in your presence, there is something to be learned from your relationship with conflict. I'm done, Kim.
Living in relationship is living from your center, the heart of yourself. It is complete reliance on relationship itself rather than on the mind. Thus, your actions reflect the proper response to the relationship that is occurring in the present, rather than to your preconceived notions of others, the previous judgments your mind once made and relies upon out of habit, or your considerations of what the situation might mean to your future. It is not the individual you that dictates your responses to situations based on surface interpretations of what those situations entail. It is rather the you in and within the relationship that responds out of the knowledge gained through relationship. How often have you, even with the best of intentions, not known the proper response to make? You even wonder as you pray whether you should pray for specific outcomes or for God's will to be done. You fear being a miracle worker because you do not think that you will ever know what is called for. Who was next, Karen?
Well, I think Samuel's moved his place, but it's either him or Alison.
Oh, okay.
So it was maybe Samuel, I think.
Samuel.
As you learn to live in relationship in the present, this confusion will pass. Your relationship will guide you surely to the proper response. I use the term proper here, not as a measure of judgment, but as an indication that there is a way in which those who live in relationship become certain and their willingness to act unimpeded by uncertainty. All uncertainty is fear. All fear is doubt about oneself. How can you not know how to respond when doubt is gone and certainty has come? How can certainty ever come without an understanding of the relationship of all things? Does an understanding of the relationship of all things mean that you will have power that is not of this world? Will you see the future and the past, be cognizant of destiny and fate? You do have power that is not of this world, but this does not mean power as you see it here, the power of details and information of which you think when desiring or fearing a fate of prophecy. The power we speak of is the power of knowing. How often have you known the right thing to do without knowing the details of what came before and what was to come? Sometimes you have acted on this knowing, and at other times not. Living in relationship provides a constant knowing of this sort, a simple knowing of a way things are meant to be. It is knowing felt within the heart for which there still will be no proof, but for which there will be the certainty you heretofore have lacked. The typical fears you have experienced in the past will not arise within this knowing. How will you know when you have achieved the state of grace in which you were created and that you are living in relationship? You will know by the certainty you feel. If you do not feel this certainty, what can you do? You are ready now. and all that will prevent you from there is only one remaining source of such unwillingness. Your willingness will now depend on whether or not you trust. Do you trust these words? Do you trust in God? Can you trust in yourself? The end.
One. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'd like to read the last two paragraphs again. I think that'd be good.
Thank you.
Yeah, go.
Miss Alison, you want to read them?
I don't mind.
Okay, you don't mind reading them, yeah.
Okay, the last two is 27, 20.
Well, you can go back further if you want to, but those ones I thought were good, yeah.
I'm going to go back to 19 because I really didn't get it. So, how often have you known the right thing to do without knowing the details of what came before and what was to come? Sometimes you have acted on this knowing, and at other times not. Living in relationship provides a constant knowing of this sort, a simple knowing of a way things are meant to be. It is for which there still will be no proof, but for which there will be the certainty you heretofore have lacked. The typical fears you have experienced in the past will not arise within this knowing. How will you know when you have achieved the state of grace? How will you know when you have achieved the state of grace in which you were created and that you are living in relationship? You will know by the certainty you feel. If you do not feel this certainty, what can you do? You are ready now, and all that will prevent you from living a life of love is unwillingness to do so. There is only one remaining source of such unwillingness. Your willingness will now depend on whether or not you trust. Do you trust these words? Do you trust in God? Can you trust in yourself?
Yes.
It's fantastic, isn't it? It's so simple.
How beautiful, huh?
Mm.
God goes with me wherever I go.
Thanks, Kevin, for asking for that.
I really like chapter 14. Yeah.
What's chapter 14?
To live in relationship is to accept all that is happening in the present as your present reality, and as a call to be in relationship with it. It is the willingness to set aside judgment so that you are not contemplating what should be happening rather than what is happening. It looks past perception of others to relationship and wholeness. To live in relationship is to live in harmony, even with conflict. It is an understanding that if conflict arises in your present, there is something to be learned from your relationship with conflict. So hard to remember, isn't it?
Beautiful.
It fits right in with right use of will, doesn't it, Cole?
Totally.
Yeah.
More you feel it, more it becomes, all the knowing comes from feeling, the real feeling. Which is really the original thought of God.
Can someone share how much they feel loved by God? I know it's a feeling
I think
thing,
you just
but
volunteered, Tonka.
trying to feel it all the time now, but I just wanted to ask.
What does Cole say about trying?
Yeah,
Well,
trying is dying.
I know, I'm not trying, so I'm like,
I can find it in the stillness.
it's like always there. It's always there. It's just us.
Yes.
But
It's
whatever
always there.
it's whatever you're feeling, Tonka. It's not just the love, it's everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Even being in harmony with conflict.
But that's also love.
There you have it.
Yep.
I don't want to try. I don't want to die. Just
yeah. How simple is salvation, huh? Oh my God. Thank you, beautiful souls.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Rainy day. We'll be seeing you shortly.
Okay. Bye all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Guys.
For a deep dive.
Bye.
Sophia, good night. Sophia.
Yeah.
See ya. Happy skydiving.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come back. Make sure you join. Let us know how it was so we don't have to dream about it.
Yeah, I will. I'll feel the whole way down.
Yeah, feel all the way
Whatever.
down, man. Like be one with the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Annie, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank
How did you find out about us?
I'm sorry?
How did you find out about this?
How did I find this group?
Yeah.
Well, there's two answers to that. Kevin invited me. And I found this group very inspiring today.
Beautiful. Yes. Thanks for joining.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Much love.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Yeah.
Ciao, bye.
Ciao.